Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Swedish Raven channel. We are gonna do a little bit of a grind, trying to come back to somewhat of a decent living in Star Citizen now that we get to keep our money and reputation for a pretty much foreseen future. At least till, so they say, at least till patch 1 full release. So anyhow, whatever we do now should be persistent. That's always something amongst all the bugs and what have you going on. So yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna try to boost some money till at least we get 1 million, and then we're gonna start doing some hauling with the C2, hopefully. And that's the plan, anyways. And then we'll see where we go from there. Well. So right now I am currently in my newly purchased pledged ship from Anvil, which is the sort of like the Anvil Valkyrie on steroids, and in this case it's called the Asgard. It's a bit more up to date in terms of gold standards and has a little bit larger cargo capacity, so it can definitely house more of a bigger vehicle like the tank. And I'm not so sure about the Atlas platform, but it might be able to pull it through. But I don't own either one of those yet. And as far as ground vehicle goes in Star Citizen, I usually try to buy them in-game rather than using store credits from Pledge. So it's nice to be back. I know it's been a while. But it's, you know, life gets in the way, and sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm not like most others. I don't usually go about doing a regular upload unless there's a reason for it. But for the most part, I'm playing solo as well nowadays. It's hard to get people around playing along with me. And the fact that it is what it is, you know, it's not really like full-fledged game yet, so, which is understandable. I mean, I can't blame others for that. It's just how it is. But yeah, when the way I shape my fleet now is to accommodate more of a solo play, so that I am not too tied should I have to play alone. And I'm not, I mean, it's not a big deal really, but it would have been nice. But it is what it is, and now we're just gonna start boosting up some economy so that we can help people and friends when they do come in, because it's been a big wipe since they played, so I can imagine it's quite a dull to come back only having 20,000 AUC, for example. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to make money as long as you have a good reputation. So even if the money gets wiped, as long as you have a good reputation with whatever you're trying to do or like to do, then usually it's fairly easy to come back to a fairly decent game. And the fact that it's never been this polished ever. Alright, so we're gonna do a very simple loop. This is what I usually do, but why I like this new addition in my fleet. The Asgard, or any kind of cargo ship that's not crazy big, but I mean, as long as you can take at least 4 missions, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what kind of missions I usually take in order to grind and grab somewhat of a decent rate of income per hour. It's not the best, but that's not what counts. It's the amount of time I spend, the amount of time I want to spend in the game to be able to achieve what I'm looking for. Right now, I just like hanging out in the game and with you guys now and then. and just enjoying the environment. It is, and it's never been this nice, smooth, and seamless ever. Now that the free fly week is over and the Invictus is over, it should be a little bit easier, especially in certain areas. I know that with the static dynamic, the static server meshing, that means that if it's cluttered in one region, doesn't necessarily mean that the whole rest of the verse is being affected in the same way, because it's isolated for that very region. So say if you have a ongoing session in or event going on in area 18, that doesn't affect anywhere else in the verse. If you're in Orison, for example, you won't notice it much more than maybe more traffic of people around the area, but that's about it, really. And so there's a lot of things that have changed, and worth coming back to a game that has so much quality of life changes that, and the fact that I haven't even begun to explore Pyro properly. That's another thing. I'm thinking about trying to do that. That comes from also the fact that nowadays, if you do die, you actually just respawn as you were, whatever you had on you. So you're not risking losing your lair or your gear, and you don't have to be constantly buying new gear every time you die. That's another bonus, especially attached to so back. I think that just came up with this patch, to be honest. Yeah, that's about it in terms of that. Alright, let's see. We are gonna we can do some landing services. What I usually do now is that since they actually added the feature that you can always come back to your ship, say you have a smaller ship docked in the bay, you can actually always come back to your ship wherever you leave it in the middle of nowhere, and that means that you can now actually live that sort of a dream, having a mobile up distant base or distance home or what have you. So now I'm at Seraphim. What I usually do here is that I take 4 contracts, maybe 5, depending on the size of them, because I am somewhat more limited with the Asgard compared to my C2 Hercules. But it should nevertheless still be able to take a couple of runs in one go. But what I usually do is I go down to further down here till I see 50,000 payouts, which is usually here. And those usually gives you only 6 SEU, which would be 6 1 SEU boxes each for this mission. And they only need to go down to Dunlow Spaceport down at Orison from here, which is pretty much from orbit down to space, well, down to the space station. And that's it, A to B, easy as that. So I'll take this one. Then I go back to offers and I go for the next one. That's just 6 SEU, so I can definitely take more, which is good. The only downside to these are obviously, as you can see, they are they're rookie rank. That means that whatever progression you make is going to be based on rookie missions, which is going to take you a little bit longer. But I mean, I'm not in a rush really, and I'm going to just keep on grabbing these as long as they go to the same location, and like so. And now I have 2 missions stacked. That's 100,000 worth of missions. And let's just go down till we see 50,000 again, which is there. Just checking that it's the same kind of mission, and it is. Taking that one. Mission 150,000 worth. And let's just continue till we see them no more. Should have more of them laying around. Another one, nice. Just double checking. Always take your time reading your missions. And that's 4 missions stacked. That's pretty much 200,000 right there. People can grab a 5th one. But if we only have a couple, we could try to grab the bigger one just to see. I mean, we could always, worst case scenario, put them loose. there's usually one like this, but that's just 96 SU, and we should be able to do it. I'm gonna go for that. That means that we have 80,000 plus, so that's yeah, 280,000 in one go, and that's from A to B. Simple as that. So we're gonna grab that one, and if we can't take them all in one go, we have to go to routes or try to cramp them in a non-safe manner, which is going to have to be putting the cargo in a loose manner. But what's possibly go wrong, right? That Star Citizen after all. We're just position this thing more around here. But why I do that is to have the ship settle. As you can see, it was starting to dance around, which is then was weighing out and weight on the ramp. So that's that. And let's see what we have, if it works. I'm also on a Asian server region, just to mitigate possible traffic flow, especially now being in Europe. You know, it's 1543, and it is starting to. Okay, that's not what we want to do. We kind of don't want to do that. We want to go to missions. There. Now we select them. Huh. There, that's good. And now, let's hope I didn't fix up there. But that's going to be a lot of cargo. I wonder if we can fit in this elevator. The downside here with this elevator, I think, either it's this one or the other one on that one. But one of these have a sort of like an invisible wall. I'm gonna have to wait for it to load in, I think, because it should be listed. It is listed here, so I'm gonna just wait for it to load in. It worked. Don't screw things up. There we go. So as you can see, don't panic if that happens to you, because it is. There are, after all, a lot of players doing some requests in terms of, you know, pushing buttons, opening doors, doing elevator requests, and that does affect everyone, regardless of where you are on the server mission. There's that. Just be aware of that. But at least, as I have the HNS, a lot of people can follow. I can do this fairly easily. Not a much of it. Come there. So this shall be interesting. I think the ship can hold 180 SU, so it should be much. Well, it should pretty much be a very precise amount of cargo that we put in here. It should be fine. It should be fine. Quite meditative doing this. And when I do solo, usually when I'm not streaming at least, I usually do this and while watching Netflix or YouTube or what have you, or listening to good music. Alright. Doing good so far, and it seemed to work. That is always nice when things work. That's not too bad. I mean, the other ones are going to be 1 SEU boxes, but I think I can even fit one row above these should I have issues trying to fit them all in here, but it should be fine. I'm pretty confident it can hold 180 SEU total, especially with the small ones. So yeah, it's a lot more work, but that also allows me to more freely arrange the cargo to actually make room for the exact amount of cargo that we do have. But yeah, that's very easy. Easy peasy. I'm gonna stop at the top, I think. See, I think I can actually put this road here as well. That's what we do. Just like that. But yeah, 200, what was it? 280,000 worth of cargo here. Going from A to B, from Seraphim Station down to Orson. As simple as that. It's a bit repetitive because usually there's another aspect too. It's the fact that you don't get any cargo run on the way back up. Because I don't think there is anything going back up to Seraphim that I know of anyway. It's going to be worth it. So I usually just go back and repeat the process. It's such a close. It's really not a big deal flying empty-handed back. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna put you right there. I mean, it should be easy, right? I didn't miscalculate this, I don't think. Should be able to fit all these in here. I hope the sound levels are good. It's been a while since I streamed, but I haven't done anything to volumes or anything in terms of setups other than, of course, streaming in 4K, which should be okay, right? The bandwidth for it. The graphic card is definitely up for the job. Oops, that's interesting. Yeah, you can accidentally grab the floor of the elevator. Not that I would worry too much about it. Not really. No, that should be. Oh, did I? Oops. Okay. Smash into the side of the ship. Have to be careful. But as you can see here, it has a pretty good amount of space compared to the Valkyrie. So it is definitely a Valkyrie on steroid, and the fact that you have more guns being piloted, controlled. You have like 4, Size 3 Rhinos or something. But it's a heck of a lot more firepower, and the fact that you have missiles as well. Which is pretty nice. Not necessarily an offensive ship built for offense, but it can definitely hold on its own, especially if you're being solo. So there's that, and the fact that there's been so much talk about how good it is on transporting and deploying ground vehicles, but we haven't really seen any use for that yet that I know of. So okay, I think we can actually let's just try right. But there's that the fact that boxes, especially big ones, obscure your view when it's held high and in front of you. They should be above your head maybe, or to your side, behind something, so that you can see where you operate with the boxes. Something like that, really. And that's a little bit of calculation there in terms of practicality. The ATLS. But it could be worse. So, if by any chance somebody is watching, definitely let me know if the volumes are good. So that way I don't have to waste time on something that's going to be useful. But yeah, we're just going to do this, and then also the fact that I'm gonna talk a little bit about the fact that what's gonna happen to this channel is that I am gonna do a lot more at some point when there's energy and time for it. The fact that I have also labeled another artist name for my music under Swedish Raven as well. So there's actually a music label also named Swedish Raven, which is for cinematic content made music that I make, where I need to have it labeled correctly when I use it here on this channel. So that's going to be maybe a music video or two now and then in terms of publishing my music on this channel as well. I should have some links about on the channel as well in terms if you want to have go and check out my music. But that's not what we're talking about here at this moment. Now we're just working a little bit on a casual grind, trying to get some funding back after the full run. After a couple of experiments where I actually lost about 2 million worth of cargo that I had on board a C2 Hercules. So I am back at 600,000 now. But after this one I should be close to 280,000 more. Loading getting there. And that should be the last box, right? And we are heading down to Dunlow. Down at first, just to do some little save. Alright. Easy peasy. Just checking. We didn't forget anything due to our little mishaps. Just doing a little quick check here. Bringing the elevator down. Usually, if you don't have any other stuff, usually it's pretty plain and simple. You see the cargo that goes with the mission, but I always try to click on mission just to make sure that it's empty. Go. We should have all the cargo we need and have board. All right. Well, let's close the baby up, and we have buttons on both sides conveniently. And we are far from full. But that's all the missions I can grab going the same route from Seraphim Station down to Orison in one go, A to B, and worth about, well, should be worth 180,000. It's that simple. You do that 3 times a day and you have 1 million. And that is that simple, but a bit repetitive, so that's sort of like what I try to avoid if I'm trying to be constructive about things, but that's fine to me. That's fine by me, really, with the repetitive stuff. Being a grinder, and the fact that I know that whatever is being done in terms of reputation stuff is going to be kept now for the future, all the way until we have a full release of Black Inside. Even if we do lose the money, at least whatever I do now is actually going to pay off whenever there is some kind of a vibes. That's why I do it. And the fact that I like just when the game runs is smooth and no hiccups, really. No bugs, nothing, just works finally, which is much thanks to the last of this patch, but next patch is going to be even better in terms of stability and all that stuff. And quality of life, obviously, the fact that whatever happens, it's fine now. You just respawn with whatever gear you had on you. No more hospital gowns or going back to the store and rebuy whatever you had, or recovering your body or anything really.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive.
Alright, we are heading down to Orison. Orison, Dunlow Spaceport. Everything is maxed out. I am playing it currently in 2560 by 1440, which is well, 2.5K, pretty much, or 2K. Upscaling it to you guys in 4K for those who have it. Hopefully video quality and sound is good. I can always increase it a little bit. I am using voice meter to adjust and accommodate volumes on different channels. So that is an easy fix on the fly, as long as you guys just notify me if there are any offsets in terms of volumes. Alright, there is Dunlow. I usually try to go down there like this so that I can fly faster, obviously with the risk of hitting something with no shields on, but at least I get to fly a little bit faster. And then when I'm getting closer, obviously I'm switching over by holding B as in Bravo. And that'll also slow me down more faster. Sort of like a speed break, basically. And then if you come in real fast, you can just hit N or deploy your landing gears to slow down even further to reduce and restrict your speed. So now I hold B, see if I can grab a platform or hangar. And there we go. Look at that. Nice. So nice when it's it just works. No hassle. And like I said, everything is maxed out in terms of graphics. Even the clouds and all the metrics is on photorealistic mode now. And it seems to be much better having that on rather than going medium or anything lower than maxed out. And from what I've heard, 4.0 is supposed to be more optimized so that you will get the benefit of having it on photorealistic more so, optimized wise, and it does look better. It looks so smooth. Landing gear and VTOL mode on, which is also going to be a new thing in 4.2 coming up soon, where you will have, I think it's 4.1.2. I can't remember. It could be the way you got to correct me, but but that next big patch coming up in June, anyways. That's gonna have some of the new flight characteristics involved. I think it's going to be more important thinking about how you hover. So VTOL, whenever it's possible, it's going to save your ship from overheating the thrusters and maybe possibly stability, and some ships are not going to be able to take off without VTOL either, like the Reclaimer and bigger ships. So there's that coming up with the next big patch, for example, in terms of flight characteristics. Oh yeah, I mean, I keep forgetting I have played a big hangar here, so I can probably back up a little bit. I can do that. Alright, let's just do some landing services and get going in terms of unloading, which is usually faster than loading the ship. Then you just slap things in there, not necessarily worrying too much where you put them. I'm gonna go with that. Alright. Okay. Let's make that money. Let's have our payday. So yeah, this is basically what I do when I play nowadays, unless I do something with friends or something more productive. Definitely would want to take a spin and a tour, not just for them but also for myself, and have a look more into Pyro. It is not as dangerous as people do claim it to be. You just gotta be smart about it and recognize the dangers and avoid unnecessary risks, and you'll be fine. It's really not a big deal. I've have nothing but good experiences whenever I have been visiting Pyro solo. It is such a nice place to hang out in. Lots of loots to do, lots of new missions, especially with this one, but like I said, it takes at least 2 people to do certain missions, even if you can do them solo, but I kind of feel like it's... If I'm going to put time and effort into it, I want to have some certain guarantees of security at least, which I only get from having at least one more person coming with me. And yeah, there's that. I mean, it's quite a big distance to go as well, usually, especially when it comes to Pyro. But you don't just do those trips for nothing, you know, like if things go wrong, not a big deal per se, but sort of like, why do it, you know, really? It's better to be smart about it than just do it when you know you can do it and pull it off. Okay, this is interesting. So, see if I can, yeah, that's, it locks itself into the grid that way. And so what I usually do is I grab the box from underneath, and that sort of like have them fall down one by one. Kind of stupid, but that's the easiest way to get boxes out. As long as they don't glitch through floors here or anything like that, then I'm fine. But there's always the risk of that when you have things going on. Like them falling freely around the place. Well, like I said, it's Star Citizen, what could possibly go wrong, right? Well, actually nothing. I mean, lately, it depends on what you're doing, really. You kind of doing stuff you know can trigger issues, then of course it's on you, but same there, really. Just play it smart. Especially now that it is as stable as it is. There's really no reason to enforce any sort of issues by doing what you know can cause it, because whatever else is running, it just works flawlessly. As you can see, I can play for hours easily without even crashing to the desktop or anything really. And I actually did a little change there in terms of how I run things. Even if I have 128 gigabytes of RAM memory, it's suggested that you should still use a page file, which I didn't have before. But I figured, okay, might as well let Windows decide the size of it and put it on a separate SSD drive, like the page file. And so now it's reserved about an 8 gigabyte page file, which it never uses. But I mean, Windows, even if it doesn't requires it, especially if you have a lot of RAM, whenever you do get a crash, if Windows crash, for example, and you get a blue screen or whatever, then Windows prefers to have a page file because it needs to store some sort of information somewhere, which you can only do through a page file. So that's why you should always have a page file, even if you don't actually need it for other reasons. But so that's why you always have at least the minimum of whatever Windows is necessary. So that's what I did for my page file anyway. So that's a good another trick to make sure your page file is on par, especially in Star Citizen. For some reason, Star Citizen is pretty sensitive in terms of your page file. And another thing with Star Citizen is the fact that it is also very sensitive in terms of your calendar and your clock, time zones and such. Because what happens is that communication-wise, a lot of these JSON files within the scripts that is being used for programming this game is reliant on your system's clock and date. Meaning that if you're in a region, a different time zone or things like that, or have a different time format, like in Sweden, we have a different time format how we put out the dates, like days, month, and year. So in Sweden, we always put in the day first, and then the month, and then the year, and in that order, and that can confuse for say a American or English coding. So that's when you what you want to do is just you can switch back and forth between automatic detection or something in your calendar or your clock adjustment. That usually just fixes it on the fly. You don't have to restart any game or anything. You just do that, and a lot of issues can resolve itself. Not sure whether that actually has to do with crashing the game, but it could be something to do with it, since it seems to be very sensitive of that. So, not sure if you guys have an issue with game constantly crashing. That could be one of the solutions. Try to switch back and forth between auto detection on your Pyro 7 and such. Alright, we only have the big ones left. And then we are good to sell. Well, that's fairly easy now. This is what I'm talking about. It's the fact that it's whoever did this kind of stuff really didn't think it through too well, because how the heck are you going to be able to know where to put things if you can't see what you're doing, if you hold the stuff in front of you? So yeah, it's sometimes thinking too much is just I don't know. Count. Like this, for example. Kind of a dumb thing to do. Takes extra time. Oh, come on. You see what I mean? That's time consuming. That's what I was trying to get at. Trying to deal with something this fundamentally simple stuff, but at the same time making it harder than it needs to be, really. Oh well, who am I to complain? I'm just happy that I can play the game as well as I can. It's been quite a ride lately, especially with all things going on. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the boxes there. Doesn't matter really where you put them, as long as they go in there. Right. Like so. Easy does it. And so this guys. And well, in your summary, what I'm doing is holding missions between Seraphim Station and down to Orson Dunlow Space Station. And I'm stacking 4 50k AUC pay-up missions. Rookie class holding missions. It'll take a little bit longer than if I were to take a junior class mission. And then I also added a 80k pay-up mission, which is these boxes, the bigger ones, all going from A to B. So there you go. That's basically what I keep doing for as long as I endure. It is quite repetitive, as I mentioned, but you do get about 280,000 per run, which is really good for such a short distance. And having the ATLS, it's a child play, loading off and on cargo. especially in such a nice ship as is Asgard, and the Valkyrie on steroids, which is what I usually call it. That's a little bit more space, a little bit wider, I think, and a little bit taller inside here. A little bit deeper cargo space as well. And, well, everything is much more convenient. Definitely big hats off in terms of life quality, or quality of life. Alright, what you want to do now is check that everything here is green. That means that you have brought everything. As you can see, everything is green underneath. That means that we should be able to hand over the cargo. All the 5 missions stacked. And so we should now be back at almost 1 million again. Coming from 620,000 as we started this session. All right, let's have a look. Look at that, 905,000, and that's 280,000 worth of cargo in just one go from A to B between the short distance of Seraphim Station, which is in orbit of Orison, and of Crusader, that is, and Orison is the city down below. So yeah, it's couldn't be easier. So anyway, guys, that is about as much as I am going to show you now. But I figured that well, I'm just going to say it. I am back at it. Hopefully, things goes all right. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell and the notification and all that shenanigan. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. See if I can do this. Hey.